Hello, this is Perry O'Donnell, and this is my run submission for SGDQ 2018 for Doom 3 Any% Nightmare. I will not be doing live commentary just because there were too many things in real life that were interfering with the live commentary. I do plan on doing live commentary during my run in SGDQ, assuming that it's accepted. Few things to note before the run starts. I will be using a mod called RB Doom 3 BFG, and basically all that does is allow you to skip cutscenes in Doom 3 BFG edition. And we use it in the Doom 3 community because the vanilla version allows you to skip cutscenes. So we figured that that's pretty fair. If you can skip cutscenes in vanilla, then you should be able to skip cutscenes in BFG edition. However, if this is a problem at SGDQ itself, I would have no problem just running the regular BFG edition. I think this would be a fantastic run to showcase at SGDQ. One of the reasons is that a lot of people played this as a kid and they were pretty spooked by it. I think a lot of people would enjoy seeing this game crushed. There's a lot of cool speed tech, just a lot of precise strafe jumping and stuff like that. One of the unique features is that it has a tool throughout the game that you would normally get toward the end of the game in a Any% run, but in Any% Nightmare you would get it at the beginning of the game. It's pretty much just a different way of playing, and I'll explain that during the run. I am not the best player at this game. And the top run is like just over an hour. My run with this is about an hour and 38 minutes. So the video is starting now. I am pretty quiet throughout the video, so there shouldn't be much besides me clearing my throat, and then of course the game sounds. Hi. And that's my girlfriend in the background. You want the overhead light turned off?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the light over here.
Okay.
Timer starts when I press Nightmare. Okay, so few things to explain in the first little bit of the run. The differences between Doom 3 BFG Edition and Doom 3 Vanilla. Doom 3 BFG Edition allows you to run faster, walk faster, jump farther, and it's also just a minor graphics upgrades. They've have some physics changes, some minor engine changes, pretty minor stuff, but the main thing is being able to run faster. In Doom 3 Vanilla, there are a few tricks that you can't do in BFG Edition, but it doesn't make up for the time loss you get by running slower. Another thing to explain is the difference between Nightmare Run and regular Any% Run. An Any% Run uses the Recruit, Marine, or Veteran skill levels, and the Nightmare Run runs Nightmare. On Nightmare, the damage system is such that you just take a lot of damage from anything. Shotgun guy can two-shot you from full health and armor. In the recruit runs and whatnot, you're actually able to rocket jump, grenade jump, to use some of the typical FPS tricks, and those will be unavailable to us in a Nightmare run. You'll notice that my health is degenerating by 5 every 10 seconds, and that is part of the mechanic of Nightmare. It goes down to a minimum of 25 health. And there are no health packs. You can only use what's called the Soul Cube, or you can use health stations on the walls. And we're about to get the soul cube at the beginning of this level. It takes 5 kills to charge, and what it does is one-shots a mob or a creature, and with a few exceptions. It one-shots a creature and gives you its health. So it provides a lot of interesting strategy where you might be able to, say, for example, skip a Baron of Hell or a Mancubus or some other large creature that takes a lot of time and ammo to kill. So what I was just doing there, when I was running this, I was trying to showcase strafe jumping. It's pretty precise in Doom 3. You have to hold forward and strafe at a precise moment to successfully do it. Otherwise, you just land on the ground normally. Coming up on our first trick here, and you're not even going to know it's a trick. And there it is. So that bridge that you saw coming down is you normally get to it when it's already down, and you pass a trigger right before you get to the scientist, and that causes the bridge to go right back up. And so when you backtrack through here, you have to go over some pillars, and that's slow. We're speedrunners. We want to go fast. So the reason I'm killing civilians is not just for the fun of it. I am actually charging the soul cube. I use 3 civilians in this first part, and then 2 fairly harmless creatures, and that will charge the soul cube and get us through kind of an annoying area where it's kind of difficult to get around a pistol guy. Again, I'm strafe jumping here, pressing forward, and then pressing strafe at just the right time. It's not as simple as just holding strafe the entire time. You have to actually press the button. If you hold the button, then you might get a strafe jump, you might not. The other thing I'm going to be using throughout the run is what I just did there, crouch jump. You just crouch while you're in the air. It doesn't make you go faster, but it does get you over and under a few small obstacles, like railings or under that light we just passed. At the beginning of this run, I was messing up a few times, getting stuck on railings or stuck on walls, but I do make up the time later on. And I figure also I have till June to improve my run, and I will be heavily grinding this game to make sure it's perfect for SGDQ. Another reason why Doom 3 would be a good game to feature is because I believe it's the only Doom game that has not been featured at SGDQ or AGDQ for that matter. Doom 2016 has been shown, Doom 64 has been shown, Final Doom, Ultimate Doom, and Doom 3 is the only game that hasn't gotten any love. So I would love to see this played, even if I wasn't the one playing it, although I would really love to play Doom 3 for everybody and perform at SGDQ. So nothing really going on, nothing special going on toward the end of this level. At the beginning of the next level, there's going to be a small trick that saves about 10 to 15 seconds, where you would normally have to kill a pistol guy, ladder would come down, and it takes a few seconds for that. We're just going to jump right on the ladder there. You'll notice also that I'm quick saving quite a bit. That is one of the safety features of this game. You can quick save before you go into an area, and so you don't have to restart the game or anything like that. There are a couple of areas in the game where if you quick save at the wrong time, it may not necessarily ruin the run, but you might have to restart the level. And that's more of a danger in vanilla than in BFG edition. I usually quick save before an area where I've known myself to die quite a bit, or an area where I have a difficult trick coming up, or in areas where I've had trouble when I first started the run, and so it's just force of habit to use that save point. So there are a few areas where I save in weird spots. This area where Sergeant Kelly is giving us some exposition, that would be a really good time to read donations, if I ever shut up.
The UAC is here to help you. Psychological services are free and confidential.
That is a bit of RNG there. That imp can sometimes throw the barrel right at your head, and you just instantly die. And so that's why I save right before that hallway. This is going to be an area where I actually had to restart the level because I died early on. Again, it wastes about 20 seconds, I think it is, 20 or 30 seconds, but we do make up the time later in Delta Lab. So also later in the run, I forget to hit my splits, so there's a moment where I think Delta Lab 2, the split goes for way too long, and then I hit 3 splits at once, so just a little oopsie on my part. As you can see, after I loaded the save, I'm doing a lot better. Still getting stuck around corners and on walls and stuff every once in a while. Again, I'm going to be working on this in the coming months up to June, especially if I get accepted. One thing to note here is that this is the introduction of the Pinky, and I could, I can't soul cube him until he breaks the glass, because the game isn't going to recognize that there's any creatures there to soul cube. So the soul cube is random in the way it targets. Sometimes it gets the creature you want. Sometimes, a lot of the time, it doesn't. So it is something to take care when you're trying to use it. Even in the last boss, when you're supposed to use the soul cube, I've had it every once in a while go after a different creature, which is pretty annoying. So like I said, lost quite a bit of time here, but I make it up later on. Now, Alpha Lab 1 has a couple of pretty cool tricks. The first one we're going to see is where I am going to jump on top of an imp before it actually spawns. And the way that works is that when a creature is spawning, the game actually counts the creature as already spawned. It is in the map, or at least its entity is in the map already, so you can actually interact with it before it actually appears. And in some cases, you can even kill it, although that only applies in a couple of areas. Unfortunately, that's the only time we really use that trick, so it's kind of a one and done thing, but it does save. It saves about 30 seconds, where normally you'd have to go through a sequence. Coming up here, I'm going to jump on a railing. That seems a little bit random, but it's because the floor is triggered to fall in under you, and so that's slower. You'll notice sometimes I hesitate before I go in and kill a shotgun zombie or a machine gun zombie, and that is because a lot of the time if you hesitate, they will not shoot you. It'll take them a second to recognize that you're there. I could have gone through there, but I was being a little bit cautious. Probably during the marathon, I will be a little bit cautious. Now, in this next area, we're going to kill a couple NPCs that we're not supposed to be able to kill, and that is Campbell and Swan from the lore, and they have a BFG we want, and that is going to save us about 2 minutes in Alpha Labs 4, where you normally have to fight the boss. All you have to do is hit the BFG and then go from there. So in this level, we're walking around a trigger where you would normally have to kill an imp to proceed. And killing an extra imp is slow, so we don't want to do that. Nothing super special going around on here. I might be time to read like one donation. In the story there, you see Bravo team going by, and Sergeant Kelly keeps yelling at you to go faster, and it's like, I'm a speedrunner. How much faster can I go? Next part is me being really, really mean. Don't shoot, blam. This saves about probably 5 or 10 seconds doing this shortcut. It can really easily turn pretty negligible if you don't make the jump, and it's actually a lot harder in vanilla than it is in the BFG edition. We're coming up to a trick. This was my first trick that I learned. This was the day that I sat there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to speedrun Doom 3. So I spent like 2 hours trying to get that jump. And it's actually harder than it looks, but it does save about 1.5 minutes. Especially on vanilla version, it's a lot harder than it looks. Again, hesitation around the corner. This would be another good point to read like 2 or 3, maybe 4 donations. Just a note here, if I step another step forward, then I'm going to spawn a machine gun guy in the room behind me, and he likes to sit behind a box, and it's a little bit hard to get him. And so I'm just going to not bother spawning him by not stepping forward. Pretty simple. And the reason I don't just let it transfer item to incinerator on the first bit is because it goes back to default position, and we don't get control of it until afterward, and it's a lot faster just to go ahead and manually control it for that first one. Missed that shotgun guy. He's going to take a pot shot at me, but it doesn't matter. Another difference between BFG and vanilla is that in this room you would normally have to wait about 30 seconds, maybe more, for these spiders to go ahead and spawn. In this, they just go ahead and spawn whenever you kill that last machine gun guy, or whatever order you're killing those guys in. Once you kill all 3 of them, they spawn. Now, I'm pretty low health here. It seems like I'm in danger, but I'm really not. We're going to kill these guys as they spawn, and then in the next room, we're going to kill a couple pinkies. One with the soul cube. And so if you're running, I believe, veteran difficulty, it would spawn all 3 of those. And so Nightmare is actually faster than veteran difficulty, but on recruit it doesn't spawn the 3rd one. Now, I used to take a few extra seconds to grab this chain gun in here, but I've found that the chain gun has too much spread in its fire, so I've stopped grabbing it. Also in this, another note, I died here. Another note, there's a catwalk up above in the area that I'm about to go in. In vanilla version, this catwalk would be a lot more dangerous because it has 2 extra guys on top of it, and in this version, it's a little bit easier to get through. I throw a grenade down there because those guys can really easily ruin your day by knocking you off the bridge and down to your death. I save here because the next room I die sometimes. Get a little stuck there. The reason I killed him is because I don't want him chasing me down this hall, and I've had him chase me down the hall before and kill me, so that's a little less than ideal. I'm gonna hesitate at the top of the ladder again, and the reason for that is to let that shotgun guy get a little closer, so that way I can just one-shot him. So we're coming up to our usage of the BFG here soon. This is going to save a couple minutes on a boss. Takes 3 BFG charges to kill it. And then we're going to save a BFG charge that I am going to use in Delta Labs 1. Doesn't save all that much time, but it clears out some creatures, so it's a little bit less dangerous to go across. And I'll point that out when it comes up. So I'm going to die again here in Enpro Plant. I believe I'm going to die. Anyway, this level introduces lost souls, which are really annoying. They hit like a truck. They maneuver really fast. There are usually a lot of them, and they're generally just a big, huge nuisance. And if I didn't stay at the edge of that rail, then a grate would come down, hit me in the head, and take about 40 health out. And you can see I got hit by a lost soul, so I couldn't afford to take 40 health out. Now, you don't necessarily have to kill all of the lost souls there, but they tend to come back for you. Especially when you come back up this elevator. So I have found personally that you either kill them now or you kill them later. And so I like to kill them now rather than wait around and then have them be a little bit more unpredictable. Again, that's personal preference. A lot of the other runners will just go ahead and and kill them when they come back up this elevator. That area is a little bit hectic to get through sometimes, because you're surrounded by creatures. Get some health back. And we're strafe jumping all the way, just about all the way back to the elevator. So I'm going to die at the top of the elevator, and that's just because all the creatures that you left behind like to congregate at the very end, or at the right where the elevator comes back up. And on vanilla version, they actually all just disappear. So this elevator, again, if I'm not talking, would be a fantastic place to go ahead and read some donations. So there's the death. And I'm going to soul cube this guy. I am, again, going around a trigger where the door would lock close and you'd have to kill 2 creatures to open it back up. And so that's slow. We're going to skip the trigger. I find Nightmare pretty interesting because you still have to, especially since your health is constantly degenerating, you still have to be killing things. You can't skip all of the monsters. So it's some pretty interesting strategy as to which creatures you kill and which creatures you skip, and then doing that on the fly. Now, I just sent my Soul Cube out to a Cacodemon. He's basically a free kill, and I need the HP to get through this area. I don't die all the time, but sometimes there's a machine gun guy, a guy that spawns right here, and a shotgun guy around the corner. And as you can see, he shot me for over half my health. And that's what I mean about the damage system in Nightmare. And even if you're, as you just saw, with my health in the lower left-hand corner, even if you are at, say, 27 health, you won't go down to 22. You just go down to 25. Another thing that I haven't pointed out yet is that stamina management in this game is really important. And there are a few points where I will purposely just walk to regenerate some stamina. That elevator is pretty interesting because if you don't let it get all the way to the bottom, and you try and jump on it early, you'll get squished. And getting squished is slow. I do die a couple times again in this area where I'm trying to get a trick. This slope jump saves, I want to say, about a minute or so. So there's several tricks in the game that even if you don't get it first try, it's worth it to try again, as long as you saved in a decent area, like right before the trick. And I use the Soul Cube there because I need to have full health for this next trick. And I'm going to be taking some intentional damage to take a shortcut. Some falling damage there, and some rail damage there. And we're going to jump up there. That's another 30 seconds saved. This is a Berserker power-up. Difference between Doom 1 and 2 and Doom 3 is that the Berserker power-up makes all of your weapons do double damage. or maybe 4 times the damage. I'm not sure. But it makes all of your weapons do more damage, and so it's faster than, say, bringing your fists out and punching everything.
Marine, are you at the communications facility yet? You gotta get that message to the fleet now. Watch out for ambulance swarms. Those UAC crews don't give a damn about what happens.
I should have hit the elevator button first and then gotten health, but I didn't think about it at the time, so it is what it is. Now, at the top of the elevator here, I'm going to send the elevator back down to the garage, because we are going to be at the bottom maintenance floor. I might die here, I'm not sure. We're going to be at the bottom maintenance floor, and that makes it faster for the elevator to come back up. Yeah, I'm gonna die here, I remember. And this death does set me back quite a bit, but it's not so bad that the final time doesn't come out really good, at least for me. Right now, this is my best run, and I do plan on continuing to play to improve it. So I just died there, but you notice the center thing that was coming out. If sometimes I get there when it's sticking out, sometimes I get there when it's back inside. If it's back inside, then I just go across. If it's sticking out, then I kill the imp on the floor. Chainsaw is the most efficient weapon to kill those shield guys, and Chainsaw is actually the second highest DPS weapon in the game. It's just that you have to be in melee range to use it. So the Chainsaw has quite a few uses, and it saves several seconds throughout the course of the run. It saves enough time, actually, that that later in the run, when we're going to lose all our weapons later, it is actually worth the extra 15 seconds or so it takes to go pick it up, because it just does so much damage. This was a little bit hairy. I was sure that I was going to die here, but I didn't. The reason I grabbed the health first there was because I was so low on health, and I didn't want them to come in and give me a surprise fireball. So this is kind of an auto-scroller area. The sentry bot is escorting you, but hey, you're full of weapons and ammo, so why not help them kill the monsters? So that is exactly what I do. The sentry bots are a little bit dangerous, and I think I might die here again, because sometimes if you are behind, for example, behind an imp, when it starts firing, it will continue to fire even when it's dead, and it can sometimes load you full of bullets, and that is not good. And that's why I saved there, because I've accidentally died there more than once. And you saw the imp was already dead, and it started firing on it. So these sentry bots can be a little bit buggy, and you have to be careful when you're being escorted by them. Thankfully, I think this is really the only area where you need to be escorted by a sentry bot. There are a couple sentry bots earlier in the game that we skipped in Mars City. So once he opens this door, We're gonna strafe jump across here, kill that guy, and kill this guy. Call the elevator, and while we're waiting, sometimes cacodemons come in from the hallway, and in this case it did. So I like to kill it and then move along. This whole next area would be a really good place to read donations because there's no killing, no action going on. We're just, in the story, what we're doing is we're sending a transmission to Earth to get backup. And Elliot Swan is like, no, don't do it.
Manual uplink established.
You hear me? Back off from that console.
And it doesn't, I don't think it really matters if you send the transmission or if you don't. No outcome on time, no outcome on story. But we just I like to cancel it just because I'm a nice person. And right there, I messed up a strafe jump. And so I accidentally crouched. And what I meant to do was strafe jump and get under that light thing. So another good time for donations is going to be right here. Some chainsaw noise for your ear holes. But this would be another really good time to read some donations. Because long elevators. So I basically just took a pot shot with the soul cube there, and it gave me some health back. And the elevator came down quickly. This is the first elevator we saw at the beginning of the map, and having it at the garage made that faster. Again, probably a 10-15 second time save. The imps very rarely use that attack pattern where they lay on the floor and pounce you. The only time they really do that is when they're sitting behind a door and they're programmed to do that from the map. So when they do that outside of that context, it's really annoying. Normally, you would want them only to throw fireballs and scratch. So we're saving our soul cube here because there's a health station down the hallway. And then we're also going to actually use the soul cube to kill our first revenant. Something interesting about the revenants in this game is if you use the plasma rifle to kill them, the plasma rifle will actually destroy their missiles in midair, and so a lot of the time it's more efficient to it's most efficient to kill them with a plasma rifle. Although these next few revenants I'm going to kill, or maybe just the next one, I'm going to be killing with a shotgun. Go down the elevator. So 3 of these guys are going to come out, and then there is a revenant to the left and a revenant straight ahead. I would love one of these days if it would go after the revenant straight ahead, but it never will, so... And we have to kill both of them eventually anyway. Pulled out the pistol because I didn't have time to reload the shotgun. It was faster to use the pistol. So, cool little trick coming up. It's going to save another 20-30 seconds or so. It's a very kind of precise slope jump. I think I might die here too, I'm not sure. So you go up there, kill the revenant, blow up his missiles. And sometimes that imp ends up there for some reason. It's not supposed to go up there. having a little trouble selecting my weapon. And I used the soul cube there, even though there was a health station, just because I was kind of dangerously low on health, and there was a revenant behind there, so. And I left health in the health station, so I'm back up to 70. Coming up to the end of the level, in some cases I have to tank a shot. Here coming up. Oh, this isn't it. This isn't it yet. Again, saving the soul cube. And this area is a little bit of a gauntlet. And I do believe I actually do die here. But again, this area is a little bit of a gauntlet. Lots of spiders come out. And then behind here is going to be one of these guys. Wait for that missile. And then as I'm walking forward, kill the Revenant, soul cube this Revenant. And the baby sound in the background was just my girlfriend watching some Facebook videos and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I die here, and this actually does put me behind. It puts me behind of what the ideal time would be. But as you can see by my timer, I am well ahead of my original time going through here. So I decided, it did put me maybe a minute or so behind, but I'm so far ahead right now that that it's worth it to try again. Otherwise, this might have been a reset on the run. Sometimes I have to tank a fireball there, and that's because if I kill that imp and then the imp's fireball behind me hits the barrel, then I die. So this went a little bit more ideally. I prefer to kill that first Revenant while I'm on the ground, and then of course the second Revenant just sits there and dies. And that was still 4 minutes faster than my previous time, so pretty good time, at least for me again. Now this next trick saves another maybe 20 seconds or so. Normally you get trapped in that little room I was in, and I looked out here so that I could point things out. You're trapped in the little room that I'm pointing at there. It lets you go. You have to kill 2 imps out in the general area there, and then that area to the right opens up as an elevator, and that is a lot slower. So we move backwards as we press the button, and we just end up right here. And as an imp pops out from there, shoot him, and we move on. This first area is pretty hectic because there's a lot of imps that are coming at you, and a lot of different things. This level is a little bit annoying too because there's quite a bit of backtracking, but we get through it. I think I die again in this level just because. Oh yeah, that soul cube normally goes after the revenant there, and I mistakenly rely on it going after the revenant. You should never rely on the soul cube going anywhere. Sometimes it just goes, screw you, I'm just not going to hit anything at all. So it's a little bit annoying that way. I am going to tank a revenant shot here, so that way I can get full use out of the soul cube, and that's the only creature, that revenant was the only creature I was in combat with, so I knew that it was going to hit the revenant. Those little cherub things are the most annoying creatures in the entire game. They have a buggy hitbox, they float all over, and they're just really upsetting. Now, this revenant is pretty annoying because he shoots around the corner and he punches you around the corner, but we got him. And for some reason, he likes to tank like 3 full shotgun blasts. Now, we're going to be introduced to the Mancubus here. They only appear a couple times in the game, so they take 4 rocket shots to the head and 5 to the body, and their heads are tiny, and so it can be kind of hard to get the headshots every time. More cherub things. Now, this is one of the areas where if you quick save at the wrong time, if you go up this elevator and you're at like 25 health, and you don't hit the health station, then you can die. As you can see, my health is degenerating really quickly because it's like a poison area or whatever. Here on Monorail, we're gonna run into another area where it's a good opportunity to read some donations, as we're going to get on the train and then we're going to sit on the train for quite a bit of time. And this guy just gives us a little bit of exposition. I do want to point out, while we're sitting here, obviously I'm not the best runner at this game. I'm not the top runner. I believe my run is being uploaded to speedrun.com right now, which would put me in second place. And there's not very many runners for my category. The first place is just over an hour, second place is 2.5 hours, and third place is 3.5 hours. So I think this run is pretty good compared to what's out there. And the first place guy won't be able to, as far as I know, go to SGDQ. So I really hope that you guys consider this run. Now we're gonna run into enforcers. These are the Doom 2 heavy weapons guys, or the chain gun guys. They come in 2 flavors. They come in whips and they come in chain guns. And the whips, you just crouch at their feet and chainsaw them, or you give them a rocket launcher to the face. And then the chain gun guys, you pretty much, it's safest to kill them with a rocket launcher or the soul cube. Coming up, we're going to run it. BFG Edition, sometimes ladders bug, particularly in this level and in Delta Labs 1. And I'm going to save at the bottom of the next ladder, and I'm going to have to reload it. You'll see what happens. I get stuck at the top. And so that's a little less than ideal. Train is going to crash. And we're going to have some spooky satanic messages. Brought up the menu because I was trying to skip the cutscene, and as you can see, I got stuck on the ladder there, and I wasn't going to waste any time trying to get off of it, so I just went ahead and reloaded the save. In Delta Labs 1, reloading the save doesn't work. You actually have to restart the level, and so that can put a real damper on your runtime. Getting stuck on walls, the usual. Another thing to note is that on speedrun.com we actually we have times in two flavors. The first flavor is time without loads, and the second flavor is time with loads. The time without loads time for this is 132, and then the time with loads is 138. I just go ahead and have it set on the time with loads, especially since I quick save and quick load so many times. And by SGDQ, the amount of times I actually have to reload the game or reload the saves would be decreased. But again, it's one of the nice safety features of Doom 3 and a lot of FPSs. So this would be another good area to read donations, just because all I'm doing is running through an empty level right now. And me putting in the data linker or whatever it is where the action starts. Chainsaw the pinky, and chainsaw this guy, and there's an imp waiting around the corner there, or behind the door, I should say. And we're going to chainsaw this guy, and then soul cube the next pinky. So in this area, we have to kill 3 lost souls, and then a revenant spawns and opens that up. And a lot of the time I get hit through there, but this time it went really well, so I didn't get hit, so that was pretty ideal. So coming up is going to be the area where we have the possibility of locking the ladder, and so I didn't lock the ladder this time around, but if you do, you have to restart the level. And it's pretty annoying. I have tried a lot of different ways to get around that, but there's just not a way to get up that area, and you have to go through here. I soul cubed that Revenant right there just because it's faster. This is where we're gonna use the BFG, and if you don't use the BFG there, those lost souls and that imp and the cacodemon and all of the creatures there tend to just get in your way, and I've died many times there by not using the BFG, so I decided early on when I was running this that I would save that BFG charge for that area. Walking a little bit just to save some stamina. And here we're getting chased down by cacodemons, and they are surprisingly fast. They catch up to you pretty quick. So I go ahead and speed my way through there. Kill those guys just because if you don't, they get in the way. This is going to be the introduction of the chain gun enforcer. So Soul Cube him, and then the next room we're going to use rocket launcher on that guy. And that guy. BFG edition throws ammo at you. Like, it throws ammo at you. In vanilla, you do have to worry about ammo management, especially in a speed run. But in BFG edition, you should not really have any problems with ammo. I'm gonna save here, and I think I die too, because there's two chain gun guys, one whip guy, a Kako demon behind you, and there's just a lot of things that are chasing you down. And so it saves a little bit of time to save there in case you die. If you don't die, then it's a little bit of wasted time, but it's a safety thing. And again, at SGDQ, I would probably go ahead and use almost all of these safety saves. One thing to note that's interesting in vanilla is that saving the game in vanilla takes only maybe 1/10 of a second. And in BFG edition, it actually takes like 1/2 a second or 1/4 of a second. So it's actually faster to save, and you can save more often because of that in vanilla version. The reason I mentioned vanilla so much is because when I first started running this game, I actually started with the vanilla version because I could not get the strafe jumping in this game down in BFG. And now that I have the strafe jumping down, it's definitely a lot faster. That zombie sometimes throws me off. Like, I know he's going to be there, but I go ahead and huddle up to the door anyway. There's actually a few areas in the Delta Labs where I come really close to dying, but I don't actually die. And then I think I do die a couple of times. Just throwing pineapples everywhere. Again, the game gives you profuse amounts of ammo, including grenades, so I like to use all of it. Makes my life a little bit easier. This next area, it's really hard to get these two imps to die at the same time. You would think they would, since I'm throwing a grenade right between them, but they don't. Now the game is going to start throwing BFG ammo at me, and I am of the attitude of, like, if you're going to give me that much BFG ammo, then screw it. I will use it all. It just does so much damage, and it's so good, so... Using the Soul Cube here a little bit more often than I usually do, just because there's so many zombies in your way that you have to kill. You can skip some of them, but you do run the risk of one of them sideswiping you or something. So I prefer to just go ahead and kill them. I do believe I die in the next... Yeah, I'm about to die again. Sorry for all the deaths. Yeah, because I had a hard time getting over those boxes. And those Revenant missiles really follow you close. So, health station, and we're gonna go to the next level. Next level is where we're going to be introduced to Archviles. And this is where I start forgetting to hit my split. But next level, we're going to be introduced to Archviles, and in vanilla version, you can actually jump off of the creatures that the Archvile spawns. But in BFG edition, you really just can't. So there's a trick in vanilla version that you can save probably a good minute or so. But maybe 30 seconds, but we have to just go around in BFG. So it's a little disappointing, but so there's going to be one of those guys right there, and then we're going to rocket launcher chain gun guy there. We're going to pick up some more BFG ammo here soon.
You surprised me.
Now, it costs a little bit of time to go in there and grab that ammo, but to me, it's worth it to grab it. That guy took a few more hits than I would have liked him to. And this is the area where we're gonna go around in the lore. This is kind of an imp research station because in the Delta Labs they were starting to take their first forays into hell, and so they actually have imps in test tubes and whatnot. Gonna be an imp behind there. Jump out of there. We're running a little bit low on stamina, but we're almost at the end of the level, so. One thing to note about the BFG, if you do use it in close quarters, then you will likely die. And I'm like a split behind. So here I'm going to shotgun, soul cube, and then rocket launcher the other areas. This level is a little bit challenging just because it throws a lot of creatures at you in a fairly short amount of time. And so when I was first learning the run, this was one of the levels that I had one of the hardest times with. And you have to dive, use the next area as cover and dive into it and just kind of be like, hey, I'm going. YOLO. I meant to kill that imp with that rocket, but I didn't. Oh well. Such is life. You're going to run into a couple of teleporters in Delta 3, and you go to 2 for both of them. And then at the very end, we actually skip one of the teleporters, which saves another probably 20, 30 seconds. Sometimes there is a chain gun guy up top, so it's a lot easier to kill him from the bottom than go through this next door that I'm facing. And he's just filling you full of bullets right as you come out. Grab some health. and grab the stim pack. Stim packs grant you infinite stamina for the time that they are active. So that's pretty nice. Reason I went for that imp is because sometimes he, especially when I'm low on health, he has he's ruined my day before by sending a random fireball down that hatch. And yes, I just rocketed myself in the face, so that was pretty swell. So this time I'm going to be a little bit more careful, and I've got a minute. The reason I hesitate to kill it is because that guy spawns, and I don't want to bother wasting ammo killing him. But that's what the soul cube is for. I'm gonna die once again going through this area. As you can see, the BFG blows you up. And that time I missed. Wasting a little bit of time trying to get through this area. And this time I'm taking it a little bit more cautiously. And I'm successful. Revenant is going to spawn here. And then we're going to jump across this gap here using a crouch jump. And we just skipped the last teleporter. Delta 4 takes, I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
You will never find the thing you seek. It is trapped in hell forever.
We basically jump down the hallway, skip a couple guys, kill a couple Barons of Hell, and then we go to hell. And we're gonna lose all of our weapons, so no reason not to try and kill Dr. Bertruger. He is kind of a he's a good villain, but he's also a silly villain. And Recycling 2, after that door that shuts on you, he basically sits there and tells you his entire plan, like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. So it's a little bit silly. Here, I thought I forgot some BFG ammo, and you actually really, really, really need BFG ammo in Hell, especially for the last boss. On the last boss, I'll point it out when we get there. I thought I didn't have enough ammo, but I had just enough ammo to get the quick kill. So this is, oh my god, Scurry Hell. They actually did, I think they did a really good job in Hell in making it creepy and making it like, oh yes, this is where you go to for tormenting your soul or whatever. And when I was a kid, this I got a couple scary dreams from Hell. But we have the Soul Cube here, so this is going to help us kill this Baron of Hell right away. And that's going to save a few seconds over say using the chainsaw, because the Soul Cube will just one-shot it, and the chainsaw does take a minute. Not a minute, but a few seconds to kill it. Use the machine gun there just because it's a little bit more accurate and a little bit more controllable. I save here, and I think I die here once. Yep, I accidentally jumped down. It is really, really, really easy to overjump these holes. So I like to take my time through them. Another Baron of Hell that we're gonna just Soul Cube. With Barons of Hell, it's really, you either want to Soul Cube them or BFG them, because in Doom 3 they are really dangerous. And they take longer to throw their fireballs than other creatures, like say imps. And their fireball doesn't leave their hand until after they complete their throwing animation, like a tenth or a quarter of a second after they do their throwing animation, and that's just enough time to throw you off. As you can see, I'm running through with the plasma rifle and killing the imps as they spawn. After you kill the imps, the Barons of Hell spawn, and then you can go through this little area, grab your rocket launcher, and proceed from there. Through here, this is like one of those Mario block things, and you just crouch under it. I think those were a lot more common in like Doom 2 and Doom 1, with ceilings that crush you and whatnot, but in Doom 3 they're not very common. Here I keep thinking I'm getting to the area where the Lost Soul is, and I'm not, obviously. Lost Soul behind me. And there's going to be a Lost Soul coming through here. Now, in the next area, we're going to... I do die a couple more times through here, but we're going to Soul Cube this Baron of Hell. We're going to come down here, shoot some imps. I should have shot that imp, but I didn't, and that's what kills me. Chain gun, because I'm out of ammo, and I get knocked off. And that's why I saved there, because I knew that I probably was going to die. Shit. I accidentally said shit, but I promise I will not swear at SGDQ. I think I have one more death before I get past this area. And that's when a Baron of Hell sneaks up behind me. It's kind of funny. You probably see me rolling my eyes in the camera. Some areas I do just have a little bit harder time getting through them, like this. And I'm still doing better than my previous runs. But if I hadn't spent so much time right here, then I would probably have the hour and 30 time. Again, I plan on working on this before I get to SGDQ. Again, assuming that that I will be running, or that my game submission is accepted. Mancubus right here. I have to kill one more. That Mancubus sometimes kills me because he just fireballs you right as you open the door, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that's why I saved in that hallway before. Here's the point that I was concerned that I didn't have enough ammo, and you'll see that I'm seeing if there's another BFG ammo around the corner. But I end up getting the quick kill anyway. Normally it's 4 BFG charges and 4 rocket shots, but I get it right at the last second. Right at the last possible moment that this orb disappears, with 3 BFG charges and 5 rockets. And I actually surprised myself when that happened. I think I gave a audible little gasp there, but I surprised myself, so I was happy with that.
Listen for a call, and then free us to smite down the evil.
This is another area where it would be good to maybe read like one donation, because it's a little bit of time before we get back to the action. And that's when I realized that, oh, I forgot about my splits.
Forgot about that.
As I said, forgot about that. I think I'd die maybe once or twice in this level, which is why I save. I throw that grenade just a little too close. The one of the challenges of getting back from hell is that they give you challenging creatures. Without a lot of options to kill them. You know, you don't have your rocket launcher, your BFG, etc. So, and as you saw, I took about 15 seconds or so to go ahead and grab the chainsaw. We make up that 15 seconds in fairly short order, so. Again, save. And save again. That guy tends to kill me a lot, so. I hide behind these boxes because this chainsaw guy likes to come in and around and whoop my butt. And then there's going to be a revenant around this corner that kills me. So I have to kill that guy again. Grab his ammo. I really probably don't need to grab his ammo because I really don't use the chain gun all that much. With this being the last half of the game, I do have a little bit of a hard time with the last half. Again, this is going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of practice before I actually get to SGDQ. It is a fairly short level. We basically go through a little bit of Alpha Labs 4 and a little bit of Alpha Labs 1, and then we get to the end of the level. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but the PDAs let us get further in the game. That little thing, that little computer that I just pointed at, it's pretty funny in the regular game. You get a few little Easter eggs of like how to properly prepare a human and stuff like that, and proper ritual sacrifice procedures and whatnot. And in there, I accidentally put in the wrong code, and I'm going to die right here. Thankfully, it's the beginning of the level. Except that I forgot to save at the beginning of central processing, so a little bit of a slowdown. But again, I'm already way ahead of my previous time. A little bit of a small cutscene where it's like, oh my god, so creepy or whatever. Coming up is probably the For me, it is the hardest area in the game, and I have no idea why. I'll probably get better at it with practice, but where you have 2 cherubs and an imp and a enforcer all in the same area. And so I believe I die once or twice through here. Yep. I restarted the save there because I already knew that I screwed up. One of the things I'm thinking about is, even with a perfect run, I will probably have a few screw ups. So I was going to probably donate maybe like $10 or $20 per restart if I have to restart for any reason. So this is a pretty hectic area. Things are chasing you down the hall, and you just jump down an entire floor. So that's pretty exciting. It's also pretty exciting to get stuck on a wall. So some of those creatures are going to be waiting for us, so that's why I brought out the chain gun. And we're going to Soul Cube this imp that spawns right here. And those guys are pretty annoying. They have fireballs sitting there ready for you. So if you go in there at 25 health, a lot of the time you just die. At the bottom of the elevator, oh, by the way, this would be another great point for donations. At the bottom of the elevator, we're going to have Campbell at the bottom. He doesn't have a BFG, but we're still going to kill him for a Soul Cube charge. And that is the second time we get to kill him in this run. So in this next area, there's going to be a few creatures that spawn that you can't go into the next room until you kill them. I go up and try and open the door so that way the creatures start spawning and I can get them killed faster. Accidentally missed the rocket shot, but that's okay. I kill 2 with 1. What I'm trying to do is track down the guy that teleported there, but the door opened anyway. Normally it doesn't open until you kill all of those disappearing guys. But in this case it did, so I got lucky. We have to go to the server bank rather than the central processing area, because we need a PDA to get to the central processing area. We're gonna Soul Cube, not this guy, but the guy at the bottom here. Grab the PDA, and one of the things you have to keep in mind, or one of the things you have to do through this area, is you have to get your Soul Cube ready, because the third boss, it shortens the kill time on the boss by, again, probably a minute or so, and it also saves a lot of ammo. You also want to make sure that your rocket launcher is charged and ready to go, because it takes the Soul Cube and 4 rockets to kill him. And this is Sergeant Kelly. And in the normal game, 5 rockets. And in the normal game, you start getting the hint that he's turned bad in Delta Labs 1 when you do a video call with him. But doing the video call is slow, so we don't stick around for it. Site 3 is a pretty challenging level because there are quite a few Barons of Hell. There's quite a few areas where it's tight quarters, and it's tight quarters and lots of creatures in those tight quarters, and it's a little bit difficult to maneuver around. And right now, I'm purposely killing creatures because I want to charge the Soul Cube and kill that Baron of Hell. And here I forgot that I need a PDA from going down this hallway. And that hallway later in the level is going to absolutely fill with monsters that we have to just kind of run by and skip. I think I'm going to die here again. Yep. Again, 3 months of practice with this game will get it a lot more polished. 3 months, 4 months, whatever. So I'm not using the Soul Cube yet, and I'm actually going to use the rocket launcher to kill this Revenant around the corner. Even though I died there, I'm still going to come around and use the rocket launcher. And the reason I use the rocket launcher there rather than Soul Cubing that Revenant is because when we jump down this area and run by a door, we're going to spawn a Baron of Hell. And Barons of Hell hurt a lot, and they're slow to kill, so... And save here, because sometimes I get stuck by that Archvile that spawns right there. I might die through here, not sure. Oh, no, I'm not gonna die. Soul Cube, and then skip forward. Use the Hell Station. One of the main things about the Nightmare Run is you just don't want to get hit at all, because most hits will take you down by over half. And then, of course, even without getting hit, you have to still worry about your health decreasing by 5 each time. So we're going to go down here, jump down this ladder, and I like to kill this little guy right here because he's annoying. So you'll see what I mean here in just a second by lots of creatures. All those guys spawn in there while you're gone. But it's pretty easy to jump over the railing and launch the freight loader. Once you're inside the freight loader, they can't touch you. Every once in a while, creatures do get in the way and they huddle by the door, and that's pretty much a death. And it's a little bit unpredictable. So sometimes if that happens, I'll I go in there, I die, and then I'll bring out the BFG and I'll go ahead and just kill him like that. So the Caverns 1 has a couple pretty cool tricks. One of them takes our health down by quite a bit. Because we have to go down a elevator. Well, it would normally be an elevator, but we're gonna walk down. I'm gonna die a couple more times coming up. It's a little bit difficult getting through this area, especially because a chain gun guy comes around the corner after a little bit and kind of ruins your day. As you probably heard, the chain gun guy come around the corner and he's already shooting me. So that's I probably knew at 50 health that was a death, but I was still going for it anyway. So I go ahead and soul cube and start going down. And I don't want to just jump right down there because you can also take falling damage, and that just ruins your day. So I'm going to send a BFG charge down across the way, and there's a chain gun guy across the way, and if you let him just fire, then he will kill you to death. Waiting for that imp to jump around. This is a pretty hectic area because Baron of Hell spawns below, Archvile spawns right next to you, and I got stuck right there on a creature spawn that's kind of slow to spawn. And then there's imps and disappearing guys. In this area, I kind of experiment a little bit and lose a few seconds by trying to go too fast. This is one of those areas where you do have to kind of slow down, especially if you don't have enough health. If I had like 45 health, I would go ahead and jump to that second to last platform. And again, sorry for the swearing. I would jump to the second to the last platform and just jump on the railing, and it would hurt a little bit, but we wouldn't die. With 25 health, you're gonna die doing that. So shoot that guy, because if you don't, then you're gonna have to listen to his speech before he gives you the key card that you need. So going back up, there's going to be Cacodemons waiting for us outside. So we're going to Soul Cube one to get some health back, and then BFG the others. There's going to be a couple imps waiting around here. That was the moment I was like, oh, right, keycard, duh. So I'm soul cubing. I was kind of soul cubing on a hope there that it would go for the chain gun guy and not for the imp. And it worked. Sometimes you do have to use the soul cube on a risk. Now here we're going to use a glitch on the map. We're not going out of bounds, but you're not supposed to be able to go down this slope at this angle, but that saves an elevator ride as well as, probably 30 to 45 seconds. And that brings us to the end of the level. And there we are. Now, this would be a really good time for donations because this is a long, slow elevator. And then I screwed up on this run by not saving at the bottom of this elevator. And I immediately die when I get off of it. And of course, my habit is to quick load immediately, and then I find out that I'm in Caverns 1 rather than in Caverns 2. And that little thing I did in the corner was kind of a facepalm. So I realize the mistakes that I'm making as soon as I make them, a lot of the time. So BFG this, and I'm gonna die here again, because I BFG myself in the face. And well, not really. I get Baron of Hell. Ruins my day. So then I realize, oh, I had the Soul Cube this whole time. Well, not the whole time, but when I kill that Archvile. So I go ahead and Soul Cube it, and I move on with my life. Go through here and then realize, oh, I forgot the stamina, the adrenaline. Could have gone around the Archvile, which I did, and I was going like, oh, da-dur. I'm hoping to submit a better video before you guys start deciding, so that way I have just a higher quality one, but I did want to just get one in at all. What I'm going for here is a one-shot kill on both of those spiders with the BFG, but I don't get it. And here I'm actually gonna end up getting killed by one of the creatures I skipped. So, and there I rolled my eyes. If you hold the BFG charge for too long, you will kill yourself, by the way. So this time I just kind of take my time, launch a couple rockets into her, kill him, and then I am on my way. And this is the second to last level. So it was really annoying to get stuck on those mini bosses. In this last level, this is the last good chance for donation reading, because there's nothing to kill until the last boss. We're picking up some rockets there because rockets are the most efficient thing to kill the last boss. Well, you're not really killing the last boss. You'll see. Okay, and I actually die once at the last boss by shooting myself in the face with a rocket. One thing of note is that you do want a Soul Cube charge at the end of Caverns 2, because the Cyber Demon takes 4 Soul Cube charges to kill. And so if you start off with one, then you're already ahead of the game. and imps and little dude guys continuously spawn throughout the encounter, and that's how you charge your soul cube. I like to give the cyber demon a healthy respect, a healthy space, because if you get hit by his rocket, you die. Even with a little bit of splash damage, you're pretty much just dead. So I definitely, some of the other runners are a little bit more risky. They will run right under his feet. I definitely respect the Cyber Demon's space, because I don't want to, especially this far into the fight, I don't want to have to restart the fight again. Especially since we're so close to the end. And there's our last charge. And time. And I accidentally was like a second late. So that was Doom 3. I really hope that you guys consider this run. It has a lot of action. It's really exciting and has some cool tricks. So yeah, I hope you guys consider it, and I look forward to hearing from you.